Good evening, everyone. Brock Kessler here with the Sabbath Broadcasting Company. It's that spooky time of year, folks. That's right, we're in the 10th and final night of the annual lunar harvest. Usually, horror movies and haunted houses are the things we indulge in at this time of year, and it's all in good fun. It's our modern interpretation of rituals and customs from a far more barbaric time of human history. But tonight's broadcast, it won't be all in good fun. In fact, it's something quite the opposite. It's a cautionary tale to be heeded, a warning to be acknowledged with the utmost sincerity. Tonight, we're going to stare into the abyss, and that darkness, it's going to stare back, just like it did 1 year ago. As we move into the stormy cycle, we bring you a solemn broadcast. Tonight, SBC is going to offer a sobering look back at one of the bloodiest days in Sabbath history. This is the Northbury Grove Massacre, 1 year later. As the last of the leaves fell along desolate stretches of highway, a crime scene emerged. The body of a young woman was found on Route 20. It was the 54th day of the third cycle, year 1022. Little did the humble folks of Northbury Grove know, she was just the first of many victims. Another body cropped up the next day, and the annual Rock the Warehouse Festival was postponed indefinitely. The Northbury Grove Police Department, in collaboration with Spectre District Troopers, evacuated the festival grounds and started a manhunt for the killer. Connor DeLune was the first survivor of this brutal killer. He managed to escape an encounter with the assailant at the abandoned Alcanon Industries building. His friend Crystal Quint, however, had a different fate. But first, a word from our sponsors.
Hi, this is Chip Quick over at Chip Quick Car Sales. Due to a shipping error that we have absolutely no involvement in, so stop asking, we're currently overstocked with cars that need to get off this showroom floor quicker than your cousin quits his 12-step program. You heard it here, folks. It's that time of year once again. Come on down to Chip Quick's Car Sales. Take off your jacket. Stay a while, but not too long. It's not a charity. You're here to buy the car of your dreams, and Chip has it, probably. But wait, that's not all. Oh wait, yes it is. Thanks for listening. Get on down here. Chip said so.
Travelers, are you tired of peasant miscreants stealing your shinies? Perhaps you've had a hard time finding a vacant castle for an overnight romantic siege. Well, look no further than King's Comfort, a 4-star royalty experience for any nomadic king or queen. We feature plagueless linens, 24-hour ale delivery, and we were voted one of Dark Ages Time's most pleasant establishments. Come see what the common folk can at King's Comfort.
And we're back with the 1-year retrospective on the grisly Northbury Grove Massacre. As mentioned where we left off, Connor DeLune escaped his brush with the killer in an abandoned factory, only to find the corpse of his friend Crystal Quint. Connor managed to escape in his friend's car. Connor was pulled over speeding away from the factory shortly after and was taken into custody for questioning on the basis he was driving someone else's vehicle and had bloodstains on his shirt. While Connor was incarcerated, Crystal Quint's body was being removed by the Northbury Grove Police Department, and Crystal's older brother Trevor was just waking up just a few miles up the road. Trevor, much like his friend Connor, had a brush with the slasher. From Trevor's statements, it's been gathered he had woken up to an empty motel. He stumbled upon a victim in the sauna, burnt to a crisp, locked inside with the head turned up to fatal heights, left to cook for hours, no doubt. There was a second victim in the Bard's Tavern. This second victim had jammed the door shut, but succumbed to their wounds in the stockroom. The charred remains of a third victim was found inside of a van. This accident led to a massive fire that burnt down half of the motel and a half-mile radius of trees. The fire department and district officials had a difficult time reaching the motel and had to send helicopters in to put out the flames. Trevor, again, much like Connor, was arrested and brought in for questioning. Both young men were acquitted of all charges after corroborating the same story. A crazed lunatic in a mask, fashioned out of an animal skull, stalked and chased them. Connor had managed to get away, and Trevor had managed to shoot him with a shotgun. The body of the killer was never found. When we come back from our next commercial break, we'll talk about the third and final survivor of the Northbury Grove Massacre, a young woman who, against all odds, managed to escape the butcher of Northbury Grove's terrifying torture chamber.
Yeehaw! Howdy, partner! Looking to gas up your mechanical horse and not sure where to turn? Well, then come on down to Fuel Mule! Your car is one of the most important relationships in your life. Regardless of how you treat your girl, you should only fear the very best gasoline. And we're talking about the very best. We're talking about Fuel Mule, darn tootin'. You want that car to gallop forever? You want that truck to purr like your prom date well past 200,000 miles? Looking for affordable concessions such as cigarettes, coffee, energy drinks, and caffeine pills for all those long road trips across the tumbleweed-dotted countryside? Make a stop at Fuel Mule. Nature calls on her own schedule. Just ask my horse. With Fuel Mule, you'll have a spot to drop trough and let it plop. Fuel Mule is proud to offer a safe space for all of you to make waste. You'll be happy with our quality gas, wide selection of processed junk foods and beverages such as Donovan Draft and Bum Cola, and find relief in one of our moderately clean bathrooms. Fuel Mule, we put the ass in gas, as in, get your ass to Fuel Mule and get some gas.
Jackos. Jackos. Better back off my jackos.
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 This lunar harvest season. Enjoy as much jackos cereal as you can.
Better back off my jackos.
Grace Bailey. She had been kidnapped from the Rock the Warehouse Festival, plucked up by a psychotic killer, thrown into the back of his blood-stained van. Grace survived for 2 days and 2 nights in the slasher's horrifying murder house. Through her hearing alone, she managed to study the behaviors of her captor and stage a daring escape. Grace made a break for it and made it outside. She found herself at the long-abandoned farm, Mountain Ridge Orchards. Incidentally, this farm was the scene of a gangland massacre itself 7 years prior, in 1015. Smoke from the nearby burning King's Comfort filled the air as ash rained from above. Grace managed to get over the walls and phoned for help at a local Fuel Mule gas station. But that wasn't the end of her ordeal. In a last-ditch effort to murder her, the killer drove his van into the gas station, causing a massive explosion. Grace was rescued by local law enforcement, and the killer's body was never recovered. In perhaps the greatest irony, the 3 survivors of this relentless serial killer were his 3 of his 4 youngest targets: Connor DeLune, Trevor Quint, Grace Bailey. All 3 of them are local heroes in my mind. Our sponsor this evening is the Northbury Grove Memorial Fund. Proceeds go to the families of the other heroes of this horrible tragedy. Heroes like Crystal Quint and the other victims of the slasher, recovered along Route 20 at the King's Comfort Motel, in the abandoned Elkanon Industries building, and at Mountain Ridge Orchards. Coming up, interviews with investigative journalist Maverick Cooper and comedian Kevin Murphy.
Last lunar harvest, Northbury Grove sustained a terrible loss. A deranged serial killer murdered countless victims. Their remains found at the King's Comfort Motel, Elkanon Industries, Mountain Ridge Orchards, and up and down along Route 20. That's why Northbury Grove Radio, the Northbury Grove Police Department, and Paragon have joined forces to form the Northbury Grove Memorial Fund. For every victim of the Butcher of Northbury Grove, there is a story. Like the story of Furio Frizzell, who had immigrated here from Rorbleog 5 years ago to start a new life. Became the manager of King's Comfort Motel, and courageously fought off the killer long enough to bar him from the pool house. Or like the story of young Northbury Grove homecoming queen, Crystal Quint. Bright and beautiful, just starting her journey in life. Donate to the Northbury Grove Memorial Fund, so families like the Frizzells and the Quints don't have to suffer in silence. Let them hear our voices of support.
And we're back again with the Northbury Grove Massacre. Our first interview tonight is with infamous investigative journalist Maverick Cooper. Maverick Cooper is best known for his self-funded documentaries, such as the Dr. Zane Grimm Expose and his controversial The Death of Integrity in Journalism. This later launched the Maverick Cooper News Network, the most popular alternative news source in Sabbath, and arguably across Scythe itself. Great to have you here with us tonight, Maverick.
And I must say, it's good to be back. I never thought I'd see the inside of the SBC studio again, but, well, here we are. Thanks for having me, Brock. You've always been one of the good guys. You give a platform to the likes of me and Kevin Murphy. Hell, you even let that nutter Jackie Joe Johnson have his say. Sure, we're on the fringe. We are not the mainstream, but you hear us out. You let everyone's voices be heard, and that's honest, even-keeled journalism. If there were more Brock Kesslers, my film The Death of Integrity in Journalism, it would never have been made.
Thanks, Maverick. It means a lot coming from you. Your work, both on the air with SBC and with your own Maverick Cooper network, is inspiring for many journalists, myself included.
I appreciate that, Brock, but let's stop blowing smoke up each other's arse. Let's get to the topic at hand, and that's the Butcher of Northbury Grove.
I understand you have some pretty controversial opinions on the identity of the serial killer?
Don't I always? Yes. I think I've connected dots that the mainstream media hasn't been able to see, or perhaps they've chosen to ignore. If you look into the last 2 decades of history in Northbury Grove and the outskirts of Spectre Forest, well, it paints a grim picture. Namely Elkanon, the Gunther family, and the cover-up by the Northbury Grove PD.
All right, so break these down for me in the order they happened. You're saying this all really started with the chemical spill at Elkanon Industries.
Oh, that's right, Brock. That gas leak or chemical spill, whatever they wanted to call it at Elkanon Industries, was the start of all of this chaos. It was the 13th day of the 6th cycle in the year 1010. People had been whinging about the Elkanon Industries building and the entire Spectre Forest industrial zone for about 8 years. This was all the ammunition they needed to get it closed for good. But there was more than meets the eye there. Like the fact that Elkanon mysteriously shut down their entire operations across the entire continent and just disappeared. That's a subject for another day. But back to this chemical spill. There was a chemical spill, yes, but the chemical that spilled is called entitimial. Have you ever heard of entitimial, Brock?
That is the primary compound of the volatile class street drug entity, right?
Precisely. And what happens to the entity junkies after they've been addicted to the substance for too long?
They become disassociated from reality. In rare instances, some of them become violent. But in most cases, Even just a handful of users of Entity can prove fatal. It's the most unpredictable and dangerous drug on the planet.
As the addiction and dependency grows, the Entity junkie loses all ability to discern reality from their hallucinations. It's a terrifying drug, and yes, on rare occasion, it leads to self-harm, hostility, and even violence shortly before an intense and fatal overdose. So, my question is, what if the chemical spill caused this violent psychosis in one of the Al-Kanan staff? What if one of the Al-Kanan employees got a mega dose of this entity and became stuck in a never-ending state of entity psychosis? What if he went on killing where most succumb to the drug and die?
So, you're suggesting a former employee of Al-Kanan Industries not only survived the chemical spill, but survived the megadose of Entity, and instead of dying after the usually short bouts of Entity psychosis, survived to keep killing?
45th day of the 5th cycle, 10:15. The bodies of the Gunther family were found dead at Mountain Ridge Orchards, just a few short miles away from the Al-Kanan Industries buildings, just a few short years after the chemical spill. Patrick and Martha Gunther and their 5 children, all slain in their own home. And what did the media and the Sheriff Harmon of the Northbury Grove Police Department say? It was the Waste Riders gang. The Waste Riders peddle drugs, ride their motorcycles and get wasted. The only murder the Waste Riders commit is on rival gangs. If anything, they help keep the far worse criminals in check. Hell, they're hired for security at Rock the Warehouse every year.
There are definitely worse gangs out there. The Waste Riders are pretty well known to enact vigilante justice after rapists and human traffickers.
I've drank with them before. They're not bad blokes at all. They'll give you a black eye if your mouth off, but they're not the type to murder an innocent family and their children. They regularly kick the shit out of paedophiles. Why would they murder children when they so frequently defend them? The point I'm trying to make is, we've got 3 massacres in a roughly 20-year period, all centred around this Al-Kanan Industries plant, around Spectre Forest, around Mountain Ridge Orchards. I think that one man wiped out the entire staff of Al-Kanan Industries after being exposed to Entity. 5 years later, he massacres the entire Gunther family at Mountain Ridge Orchards. And last year he returned again to claim victims up and down Route 20. Where was Grace Bailey found?
In front of Mountain Ridge Orchards.
And what did the NGPD find when they investigated the long-abandoned Mountain Ridge Orchards?
Many more victims. Compelling and frightening insights and theories, Maverick. Hopefully, law enforcement takes some cues from your investigative work and looks deeper into this. I want to thank you again for stopping by the show. You've given me and the viewers a lot to think about.
My pleasure, Brock. I'm just a man looking for the truth.
That was Maverick Cooper, a legend of journalism both mainstream and fringe. Stick around, because coming up next is an interview with everyone's favorite outspoken comedian and radio shock jock host, Kevin Murphy.
Light Ridge Heights, a brand new, sprawling apartment complex located in the financial district of Spectre City. From luxury suites and spacious studios on the upper floors to frugal, moderately priced apartments on the lower levels, to the incredibly affordable sub-basement housing, Light Ridge Heights accommodates every budget. We're gentrifying the outlaw slums, getting rid of the crooks and bums, and turning it into a profitable enterprise via corporate funds. Living in Light Ridge Heights puts you just a few hours drive away from the beautiful Spectre Forest and minutes away from the Spectre City shoreline. Enjoy the full beauty of Sabbath's West Coast, from the beaches to the lush forest nearby. Light Ridge Heights has a gym, spas, saunas, outdoor pools, and several bars fully stocked with locally sourced products like Northbury Ale. So what are you waiting for? Book your new home today and join the Light Ridge Heights community.
You need energy for walking, running, and sprinting. You need energy for working out and exercising, for pumping iron and hauling shingles. You need energy just for waking up in the morning. There's only one choice when you're choosing your energy drink. Swimmer's choice. Because when it's time to sink or swim, you know you have no other choice. but swimmer's choice. Swimmer's choice bears no responsibility for rapid heart rate, panic attacks, heart attacks, or lowered sperm count. Children under 13 should not drink this beverage. Adults over 21 should also not drink this beverage. Please drink responsibly.
Hello everyone, we're back again. If you're only now tuning in, I just spoke with investigative journalist Maverick Cooper, a true legend. He offered some rather compelling insight into the El Canon chemical spill and the Mountain Ridge orchards. Chilling how it all tied back together 1 year ago. I've got a lot to ponder after we conclude tonight's special. But now, I've got another legend. A legend from a different kind of field. The field of comedy. Of taking down hecklers with ease. And most recently, providing voice acting for the Hellraiser game, Senile Showdown Old School. Our second interview is with actor and comedian Kevin Murphy, host of The K-Spot. We've opened the line for callers if anyone is interested in asking Mr. Murphy some questions. So, let's get into it. How are you doing tonight, Kevin?
Hey, B-Rock! What's cracking, buddy? It's good to chat with you again. How long has it been?
Almost a year, Kevin. Last time I had you on, we were talking about Jackie Joe Johnson's stance on violence in video games.
That's right. Old Triple J failed again. Not too long after that, I did a voice on Senile Showdown Disorderly Elderly. Hellraiser wrote this great villain. Basically, he was a mafioso in a retirement community. Had the place under his thumb. I think I was the second to last boss even. Then I worked with him again on Old School just a few weeks back. It's gearing up for a release any day now. I know they're really working hard. Video game deadlines are no joke. What's really crazy is they were renting space at that King's Comfort motel for their dev studio. The entire motel burned to the ground except the dev room. It was the only structure still standing. And get this, the keypad even still worked. No damage to any of their equipment. I guess they're the unsung survivors of the Northbury Grove Massacre.
And you were live, on air, while all of that happened.
Yeah, it was absolute chaos. It was maybe 5 days out from Rock the Warehouse. I'm hosting my normal K-Spot broadcast, cracking jokes about hippies and ravers. Of course, I was supposed to be at the event later that week for a comedy set. Go figure. Anyway, reports came in about bodies being found up and down Route 20, and my producer at the time brought me in some copy, but was trying to tell me, stay in character. My kids were among those hippies, ravers, and derelicts, Brock. I think I received the same copy that you did. And to be frank, I think I read it a little better than you.
That's definitely debatable, Kevin, but jokes aside, you didn't go back home after that first reading, did you?
Nah, Brock, you know, my job has always been to make people laugh, to think about things differently. I don't go out aiming to offend people, but in reality, to brighten their day, to make them laugh. So when I stayed on the air for, 3 or 4 days, I barely had any sleep in that period. But I felt it was my duty to help people, just not with my regular skill set. News kept pouring in, all these developments. Now a body was found at the abandoned festival. Cops were all over Spectre Forest, setting up roadblocks, evacuating people. Hell, even the Waste Riders gang were helping look for that sick bastard. One of them went to run him down in a van at King's Comfort, smashed into the pole, and died. The messed up thing is, that's when that Trevor kid, complete badass, grabbed the Waste Rider's shotgun and blasted the killer. You'd think that would be the end of it, but no. By the time the NGPD got there, the killer had disappeared, and all they saw was this kid, Trevor, covered in blood, a few corpses, and an exploded van that had started to spread fire to the trees. They busted him and blamed him for it, trying to put a neat, bow on the case, but then what happened? Turns out this dude's sister is one of the victims. His best friend was the badass that made it out of the factory. Conrad?
Connor.
Total badass, these kids. And Grace, probably the most badass of all, she was stuck in that deranged killer's home base for like 5 days and still managed to escape. But the scariest thing is, the killer ate a shotgun blast like a bowl of Jacko's cereal. He went back to the farm while Grace was mid-escape. Eventually, he rammed his fan into a fuel mule and caused a massive explosion. Crazy!
What was it like to be broadcasting live for the better part of 5 days? Minimal sleep as a horrible tragedy befell your hometown.
It was awful what was happening. And I was just doing what I could as a crazy ginger comedian to help people on air deal with the crazy shit that was going down. I know, I'm not someone to look up to aspire to be, or anything. I tell my jokes, you pick apart the social commentary I subconsciously put in there, yada yada. But that broadcast, it changed how I view my role as a radio host. And I know you were dealing with the same stuff, Brock. Weren't you live through all of it with me?
That's true, Kevin. I was reporting right along with you. And I agree, it is humbling to offer people a voice of reason in such times of unpredictability and chaos.
Wasn't your reporting that night what got you this cushy gig with Sabbath Broadcasting Company?
The call did come in shortly after, yes.
And here we are, a year later, reflecting on that crazy lunar harvest, raising money for the families of the victims, trying to figure out what the hell happened. It's all really come full circle.
Our first call of the night has come in. May I ask, who is speaking?
This will be Ronaldo's last words. He's outside. He's got so big. Don't want to die. I don't want to dream many dreams. He sounds like an animal. He's killed everyone. There is no Jim left.
This guy can't be serious, right?
His eyes. Oh God, his eyes. Ronaldo's muscles are no more. Goodbye.
I think you're pranking us. Listen, you sick fucks, people died last year. The killer's body was incinerated in that fuel mule explosion, all right? He's gone. Dead. This isn't something to joke about. And I should know. I'm a comedian.
On that note, it's time for a quick commercial break. We'll take some more calls when we get back. Kevin, you sticking around?
Sure thing, B-Rock. I got a set later, but I got some time. Especially if some more assholes plan on calling in with pranks. I'm gonna have some harsh words.
We'll be right back with the Northbury Grove Massacre 1 year later.
It's almost time, kids. The annual lunar harvest season is coming to an end. But don't fret, we've got one final lunar treat for you this harvest season. Be at your television sets for the end of the harvest and the start of the storms for your chance to win fabulous prizes, like a life supply of jack-offs.
Come and enjoy some Jackos, best cereal around. Remember to eat your Jackos when you hear this sound. Pour yourself some Jackos, fill up the bowl with a shout. Fill your spoon with Jackos and put them in your mouth.
When you go on vacation, oftentimes, you can't bring your fur children with you. Who can you trust with your pets? Why, California Kennel, of course. Not only do we have the world's biggest kennel, we have multiple pet drop-off stations in every district. From the northern border to the southern border, we've got you covered. Our professionals are trained to deal with every pet and temperament, from the most docile dachshund and timid terrier to the most bitchy Burmese and rabid rabbit. So leave your pets in good paws and go with Californ Kennel.
We're back again, and we've got a few callers waiting. Before taking our second call of the evening, I want to reiterate, prank phone calls will not be tolerated. We are trying to bring closure to the events of last year, not mock them.
There's just no way that guy survived a shotgun blast to the chest and a gas station explosion. I don't buy it.
Next caller, you're on the air live with the Sabbath Broadcasting Company.
Yo, what up, Brock? What up, Kevin? My name's David. I'm from Donovan City, and I'm a fan of both of yours, for real. Actually, I was listening to the Brauch on Northbury Grove News after my workday for years now.
Oh, I appreciate that, caller.
And Kevin, I saw one of your old sets. I'm talking sets in outlaw slums of Spectre City and Donovan City. We ripped a joint after one of your shows one time. Yeah.
I promise you, I did not inhale.
Anyway, I'm calling in just to say that last guy, he might have been legit. Now hold up, now hear me out. Recently, around these parts, people have been noticing some strange stuff, like dead pets, stolen vehicles, is being kept, hush hush. But in the last few days, people have been saying they've been seeing, well, the killer. Carved out buck skulls and all, man.
But he died in that explosion. No way someone could live through that. He was incinerated.
Or maybe his body was never recovered. No autopsy on the guy, man. No ID. I don't know, Kevin. That could be a cover-up. Now, I'm not trying to spread rumors. I'm just spreading the ones I've heard down tavern out on the outskirts of Spectre City. Now, don't get me wrong. I hope that killer got burnt to a crisp. But if he didn't, I just want to get the warning out, Anyway, thanks for taking my call, guys. Peace.
Thanks for calling.
Maverick brought up a good point earlier about the entity. Maybe it's someone else going on an entity trip? Some kind of copycat killer? And maybe it's those whack jobs in acting diplomacy. Didn't they drug a bunch of politicians with that entity shit? A few people even died.
That could be it. A copycat killer is another theory. There was a lot of infamy gathered in such a short time frame for the butcher of Northbury Grove. A copycat killer does sound more feasible than the butcher surviving a shotgun blast to the chest and an explosion.
I will say, when Maverick started connecting the dots back to the Elkanon chemical spill and the Mountain Ridge Orchards massacre, I was taken for a loop. Those events seem to be brushed aside rather quickly. It's clear there are elements at play we don't fully understand just yet. Maybe the killer is one of those cannibals from the Zurakin deserts. That Grim guy, he wants to put up a border wall. First, he was trying to get one built as a politician, and now he's got some hotshot company, Paragon, and now Paragon is funding the wall. I love people from all over. From the Outcast Islands to Rabliag to Dariaz, I've done extensive comedy tours to dingy dive bars across all of Scythe. But cannibals, that's where I draw the line. Can you even be rehabilitated from eating people?
All interesting theories, Kevin. Looks like we've got another caller. Hi, you're on the air with Brock Kessler and Kevin Murphy live on the Sabbath Broadcasting Company.
Listen, I'm not trying to come across like I'm screwing around, but I swear I just saw the killer earlier today.
Who are you referring to, caller?
Well, maybe it's not the same guy, but I was at a fuel mule just outside Spectre City, and a guy came in. He murdered 3 people. He stole one of their cars. He was wearing a deer skull over his face.
And if he was taking out everyone in the gas station, how did you survive?
I hid under my car. I wanted to help, but the way he walked up so casually and robotic, he stabbed one person, lifted him in the air with the blade.
I urge you, caller, to hang up immediately and inform the Spectre City Police and the Northbury Grove Police.
I already talked to them, and they told me to keep quiet about it. That's why I felt obligated to call in to warn people. I figured if anyone could help me, it'd be you guys.
Thanks for calling in. We're going to take another commercial break. During the break, I'm going to try and get more information regarding these calls coming in. We've got to get to the bottom of this, whether it's a copycat killer or if through some freak accident it's the same killer from last year. We will find out.
It's time for a change. To wake up feeling refreshed and rested. To end each day feeling content and fulfilled. To look in the mirror and like the person you see looking back at you. It's time for some better days. Are you struggling with addiction? Well, then it's certainly time to get out of the daze and strive for better days. So why not look into booking a stay at one of our facilities? Our rehabilitation centers are stocked with the best counselors in all of Sabbath, ready to help you tackle your addiction, be it psychoactive substances, pornography, video games, gambling, or sex hotlines. Our staff will do everything in their power to help you beat your addiction today. It's time for better days. For a better tomorrow, make the call to better days today, yesterday.
If you're looking to get away from it all, there's no better retreat than an affordable stay at the semi-luxurious motel chain, King's Comfort. Sleep like a king or queen of a modest kingdom on one of our experienced mattresses, broken in after years of use and a handful of rigid cleanings. Is that a rash? No, that's the King's Comfort Motel. Trying to have an hour or two to yourself? Time away from the kids? Or even some discreet loving away from home? We rent by the hour and we don't judge. We've got locations all through Sabbath. Coming soon, King's Comfort Motels in Robleog and Dariaz. Our location in Spectre Forest has been relocated up the road, still just a mile away from the Bard's Tavern. You can still get your drinks in with the Bards before you go back to your royal room. It's even up to fire code now. King's Comfort, the only motel to provide you a 24/7 peasant room service. King's Comfort, where every stay is a glimpse of royalty. King's Comfort, where the bed bugs only bite you twice.
You still with us, kids? Good. Be sure to stay tuned all night for your chance to win.
Come and enjoy some Jacko's, best cereal around. Remember to eat your Jacko's when you hear this sound. Pour yourself some Jacko's, fill up the bowl with a shout. Fill your spoon with Jacko's and put them in your mouth. Put them in your mouth.
We're back on SBC, talking about Northbury Grove Massacre a year on, and some unsettling reports are coming in.
I don't think that Ronaldo guy was screwing around after all. Not after the other two callers corroborated more insanity just up the road. I don't think anyone would coordinate such a moralist prank, trolling a broadcast about a local massacre. Not 3 calls in a row.
We are waiting for a statement from Sheriff Harmon at the Northbury Grove Police Department. In the meantime, arm yourselves. Lock your doors and windows. Keep an eye out for any suspicious activity.
Don't let this sick fucker take you out. Put a bullet in his skulls.
His skulls?
Yeah, the skull he wears and the one in his face.
I guess that's why I report the news and you tell the jokes.
Interconnectivity, information, inspiration, and innovation. Making Scythe a better place. Paragon Genetic Technology Corporation is changing the world, one cell phone at a time. We now proudly introduce our latest and greatest feat in technological advancement, Paragon OS 3.0. With this new update, your cellular devices will now come equipped with a longer battery life, better service, and a myriad of new features. All of our new cell phones will feature touchscreens. No longer will you need to fumble with buttons. Browse the Scythian web faster than ever before with internet connectivity at unprecedented speeds. Use our hologram insert to view blueprints, spreadsheets, and constellations beyond our Scythian solar system. Every phone comes free with hologram design software. From giving a presentation at work to entertaining kids at home, Paragon has you covered. Paragon, bringing families together, bringing you that promotion at work. Our AI bot PD Paragon will answer any questions you've got and fulfill many tasks. You can even set it to record your every waking and sleeping moments. Think of the data you can collect, the things you can learn about yourself. Unlock your potential with the best AI sidekick available. Coming soon, cybernetic attachments. Integrate Paragon software and hardware directly into your body for the ultimate Paragon OS experience. Functionality that is beyond your wildest dreams. An interface you can literally control with your mind. Think it's far off? President Dr. Zane Grimm estimates this technology could be seen within the next 15 to 30 years. Contact your local Paragon store for info on becoming an alpha tester. Paragon, bringing Scythe to the future.
The line is still open for callers.
Would you look at that? Another call immediately. Hey, hopefully this is someone talking about last year's massacre and not this year's massacre.
Caller, you're live with Brock Kessler and Kevin Murphy.
He's here. He's trying to kill me. My friends, they're all dead.
Caller, are you still with us?
Fucking creepy!
Yeah. I'm hiding on a roof. Northbury Grove Estates. He's still inside the house. He's looking for me.
Have you called the police, caller? Anything we can do to help?
I tried to get through, but all I got was a busy tone.
Oh, I'm on it. I'm calling him right now. Hey, I'll be right back, B-Rock. I'll take this out of the studio. Hang in there, caller. I'm calling the NGPD for you right now. Holy shit, that guy sounds like a monster.
Do you see any way off the roof? Maybe you can climb down, lock the killer inside? I know Northbury Grove Estates just had a new security system installed from Paragon OS. I have relatives that live there.
Hey, that's right. I just need to get my friend's cell phone. I don't live here. I don't have access to the system. Brock, I got the phone. I'm going back to the roof to lock the system.
Be careful, caller. Are you there? Caller.
I think I hear something. What's that?
All right, I'm back. I just talked to the Northbury Grove police. They said they're already on their way. What'd I miss? Caller?
Hey! No! What are you doing?
For the love of Scythe, cut to commercial.
I need to know your status now. I
It's time. Sit close to your TV, as close as possible, and turn the volume all the way up. It's time.
Come and enjoy some jackals, best cereal around. Remember to eat your jackals when you hear the sound. Pour yourself some jackals, you'll go with the show. Fill your spoon with jackals, put them in your mouth.
Hi, my name is Chuck Crease. You may remember me from the hit TV reality show Nude and Screwed, where they drop contestants off in remote locations, naked, see how long they could survive. On my first expedition, I made it for 11 days on one of the outcast islands. I survived off shrimp. My entire camp ate like kings and queens that night. Unfortunately, I contracted a flesh-eating virus in my right foot from some bacteria and had to force to tap out. I lost a few toes on that one. Then I was left to fend for myself in the Zurricane Desert. After getting chased by cannibals on the 14th day, I had to tap out before they ate my limbs like chicken wings. The third goal was in the frozen oceans to the north of Scythe. This is the only challenge in which you are naked. You get a thin thermal and a buck of damn matches. I made it 20 days, but I had to tap out due to some frostbite. I lost some more toes, but damn it, I'm still gearing up for the first attempt. No rest until 21. In order to pay my way out of a restraining order from the Saga Broadcasting Company, who own the rights to Nude and Screwed, I started my own line of survival products called the Wicked Woodsman. Trying to kill something dead? I got you covered with the finest stranger danger firearms, customized by yours truly. These customized rifles, shotguns, and crossbows sure have some stopping power. Whether it's a bear in Spectre Forest or home invader, kill them dead with the Wicked Woodsman weapons. I've also got thermal, edible underwear. This is great not only to warm you up, sure you get stuck outside in the cold, but also to eat if you run out of food. Oof. I've got a storefront set up in Donovan City. Feel free to stop by and check out all our wares. Ow!
All right, listeners. I know after that last call, you were all likely on the edge of your seats. We regretfully inform you that a rash of killings has reemerged on the 1-year anniversary of last year's massacre.
Fucking deja vu!
The owner of the Moosel's Mega Pump gym chain was found bloodied in his gym just outside Spectre City. He is currently in critical condition after being airlifted to Califon Hospital.
I'm sorry for going off on you, Ronaldo. I hope you survive. I hope my loud fucking mouth didn't get you caught by whatever lunatic is picking people off now.
3 more bodies were found at a fuel mule on the edge of Spectre Forest.
I feel like it's last year, all over again.
Rock the Warehouse 5 will not be canceled. Reportedly, they have heavily amped up security presence in comparison to last year, enlisting the bulk of local Waste Riders gang members.
Try and screw with the Waste Riders, Butcher. I dare ya. They'll break the antlers off your corny mask and shove them up your ass, you sick freak.
This is in addition to almost the entirety of the Northbury Grove Police Department being on hand, and even some backup from Spectre City Police and Spectre District authorities.
So you might not get stabbed, but you might get busted for drug possession or public intoxication. Remember to be careful smuggling in those moonshots and red shrubs into the festival grounds. And definitely don't try and bring in any entity.
The killer's most recent known location was Northbury Grove Estates. Police are en route to the remote community, but are coming up on several natural roadblocks. A portion of Route 20 has been cut off by rock and rubble from what appears to be an explosion just off the road. Workers are cleaning the road in a desperate bid to get cruisers to the estates. Incidentally, the only other road that leads to Northbury Grove Estates, Park Avenue, is closed as authorities clear up wreckage from a brutal 5-car pileup and tipped 18-wheeler. The entire road has been blocked off, and Lunar Harvest traffic is backed up for miles.
It's like a damn repeat of the King's Comfort fire. It never ends.
If you're inside of Northbury Grove Estates listening to this, board up all doors and windows, arm yourself, and be extremely vigilant. The killer was reported to the Northbury Grove Police Department, as well as us directly from the last caller.
Stay safe and stay tough. If you see this freak with his goofy unicorn helmet, do not hesitate to cut, stab, shoot, or set fire to him. Yeah, that's right. I'm telling you right now on SBC to maim this psycho. Rally up a group with pitchforks and torches and take this killer down.
While Rock the Warehouse 5 will not be canceled, the final day of Lunar Harvest festivities has been canceled. A local curfew is in place for all of Spectre Forest, including Northbury Grove and even the outskirts of Spectre City. The NGPD, again, in coordination with the Spectre City PD and Spectre District authorities, have set up roadblocks all over the entire district. Be on the lookout for a tall man, reportedly nearly 7 feet tall, last seen with severely damaged skin, a deer skull mask, blood-stained apparel. He was reported to have stolen a blue 5th edition Breeze Behemoth sports car.
Ooh, man, I love that car. 0 to 100 in a second.
As of right now, we are ending our broadcast.
No triple nighters this time. Not for us, at least. But hey. I'm still gonna do my part at my comedy gig in Spectre City later, though. I'm gonna do my part and tear apart this sick bastard on stage like he does to his poor, innocent victims. Get ready, asshole. I've got a verbal reckoning for ya.
We wish everyone a safe night. Stay calm, stay alert, and keep your eyes open for any strange activity.
And stay alive, hopefully.
This has been Brock Kessler with the Sabbath Broadcasting Company, with special guests Kevin Murphy and Maverick Cooper. Stay safe and see you tomorrow for our first storm season broadcast. Brock Kessler, signing out.